everybody. Welcome back. I got some good news, bad news stuff going on right now. I'll go over with you, and then I'll include this clip in one of the videos. I've got so many clips made of just filming, so stuff may not flow very well when you see it, but this will be at the start of whatever video is next. But anyways, so good news, got license plates. Also just added it to the, we're on Haggerty insurance with the truck and the other Corvette. So I just added this car to that policy. Bad news, when I went to register it, we found out it had a salvage title out of Oklahoma in 2002 for odometer statement. So I ran the Carfax on it and got that back. So I don't know if somebody screwed up, and it was licensed as a commercial vehicle in Oklahoma as it was bought brand new. And it is verified I am the third owner of the car. Odometer doesn't look like it's tampered with. It's showing 59,000 miles. When they put the claim on it for salvage title, it only had like 30,000 miles on it. So I don't know what's going on. Interior wear and tear is not showing over 100,000 miles. You know, the pedals aren't rubbed off and nothing like that. So I don't know. It is what it is, but I own it now. So either way. So that means we can check some right there, registration and insurance is done. Also, clutch master and clutch slave are in and bled and are working. Bad news, I did it twice. So I installed the clutch slave, put it in, had it all bled, went to crawl underneath, and apparently when I went to install it, the rod had slipped off the arm for the clutch and had wedged between the arm and the transmission housing, and I could see it in an inspection hole. So I had to pull it back out, set it in right, get everything pushed together, and get it bolted back up. It's kind of a pain in the ass, but at least it's together and it works, and it's bled, and it should get better as the more we use it. So I might actually try and move it around on its own power this weekend. I've got to pull front tires off, check brakes. I need to check the spring and see what's going on and why it's slammed to the ground. Pulled the air filter out, a K&N in it. So we cleaned it. I'm just waiting for it to dry so I can re-oil it. Probably not ideal. I like Wix filters or Napa Gold, but it's what's in the car, and I'm not trying to spend a whole shit pile of money right now because I got to put tires on the thing before I can even drive it. So we're getting there. We're getting there. It'll be, if I can I think I have a Corvette Club meeting in 2 weeks. The goal would be hopefully to maybe drive it to that. I don't know if that's going to happen. I really need my red car to sell, so I have some cash coming in, and then I don't have to find somewhere to store that because it's been outside under the car cover for 2 weeks. And I'm hoping one of our club members has storage and I could put it in there for the winter, which it'll have to go here soon. So there's that, and then we'll get back to working on. Oh, and I pulled the wiper arms off, pulled these panels off, vacuumed down in there on both sides, and then obviously we've got the computer all put back together and everything covered up for the master. And then it'll be, if I can run it the way it is for a little bit, then I'll get plug wires and everything else put on it over the winter. I just like to drive it once and see what it does. Not too much to ask, and then we can fix more stuff from there. But the smell on it is slowly going away and throwing away more and more stuff. Pulled all the insulation out of the back of the car. There was pieces here and here, over there on that side. I pulled those out, threw them away. I've got the cover outside that needs, so we'll get that clean and put back on, and then throw some like scent bombs or something in those holes to hopefully calm this thing down. But it is what it is, and then we'll go through and check lights and everything else. But, you know, anytime we get to wipe something off the whiteboard, that's a good day. So right there at the top, clutch master and slave gets to go away. Oops, I get coolant. Coolant I didn't check, we'll get that, but we're getting there. Thanks for watching. Like I said, we'll insert this clip at the start of the next video, so keep watching. All right, we are down underneath the Corvette. I was checking out this front leaf spring. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's splintering on this side. And up in here, there's some cracking. I don't know how well you'll be able to see any of that. So that's my guess on why the suspension has collapsed, because the spring has gone bad. It's kind of odd to see a composite monoleaf do that and go bad, but I don't know how this car was used and abused. This side seems okay, but we're gonna have to get the car out of the garage, turn around, and nosed in instead of backed in, so that I have room to work to pull the spring out. And I need to find one. I don't know how hard that's going to be, and I don't know if I have the money to do coilovers. Otherwise, I'd do that. So we'll talk to you guys later. Well, good morning, YouTube. Today is big doings day. We're going to take Rat Vet here, Mouse, set her on the ground. It does start. I have the clutch done, so we're going to try and move it out of the garage, turn it around, and nose it into the garage. That way, if I have to work on the front leaf spring, that mono leaf that I think has gone bad, that's why the suspension's collapsed, then I have more room to do it, because obviously I have more room at the front of the shop than I do at the back. So that's the plan for today, and then we'll figure out what to do with wheels and tires. We might be taking and putting those wheels on the green vet, and then I'll put the factory turbines back on this car, especially if it's going to sit all winter. I don't know yet. Haven't made up my mind on that. I like the saw blades that are on this car, but they need tires replaced really bad. So I'd still like to try and drive this once this year. See, I kind of like those. The rears aren't terrible. I think that one's from 2015. The other one's from 2012. So that's at the 10-year limit. And the rubber and everything looks good. I don't see any checking or dry marks, but the fronts are horrid. I wouldn't even want to go down the road in those, but we'll see. So I'll get this thing on the ground, and then we'll fire it up and take it outside. Look at that. It moved on its own, and it's running. So after I dropped it on the ground, the suspension looks like it went back to the normal ride height. But I'm going to go run it down the road real quick. One, just so I can say I've driven it, and two, to see if it collapses on itself again. Kind of looks like this side already may have, but we'll see. All right, be back. All right, as much as I don't want to do this, I have to pressure wash this engine off. All I did was idle down the road, had smoke coming out from over there, so we've got to get some of the debris and crap off this thing. And I'm sure some of it's old oil from sitting for so many years. But we need to get all that spider webs and stuff off so we're not catching crap on fire. I'd really rather not burn this car down if I can avoid it. So I guess I'm gonna hook up the pressure washer and kind of spray down. What I will do, kind of avoid this half of the motor so we're not getting anything on the OptiSpark. Obviously the hood and everything needs sprayed down, but we'll try and avoid that, but just kind of stay back in this area as much as we can. So don't really want to do this, but I got no choice. Got to get all the debris out of there. All right, just got back from the parts store. So when I was washing the car, I noticed I pulled the covers off so I could clean out everything in there, but I noticed the vacuum line for the fuel pressure regulator is junk. It goes around to the other side. So went and picked up 3 feet of 5/32 vacuum line, and that way I have extra in case we need to replace some other stuff in there. Plus I picked up a side post, an actual side post terminal instead of that weird blocking thing they had with washers and other stuff. So that'll be right. And then I don't know, plans may change on this all of a sudden. If this suspension's not bad and it was just because it sat so long and just collapsed and then bound up, I'll know here soon if it's keeps collapsing on itself. Shocks, bouncing the car, the shocks are going up and then staying up. They're not just going down and locking. So they seem like they're okay. So I might be swapping wheels and tires and stuff around this afternoon and actually drive this car and see what it does. I mean, I got to finish getting the interior, what I have of the interior, getting it put in, finish bolting the driver's seat down. I wish the forward and back on the driver's seat worked so I can adjust the seat. It's in one position and that's it. So that's kind of a bummer, but it is what it is. So I'll check in periodically throughout the day and we'll go from there. All right, so just checking back in. Unfortunately, I had to take the C6 wheels off my 84 and put them on the green car, so I have tires that are safe enough to drive. The factory wheels that were on the turbines, I'll show you in a minute, still had good tires on it. So I can drive both cars now, but I don't like, I don't like the way the C6 wheels look on that. I like the saw blades better, and yes, I know the brakes are rusted. We're working on that. But I had to, so it's a 245 front, 285 rear. I had to put a 1-inch spacer on the rear, which I had on the front of the 84, just so I had enough clearance to miss everything. And then there's no spacers on the front. That's just the way it sits factory. So then we go out to the old 84, and she's got her turbines back on. I mean, they look okay. They're not great, but it's kind of nice seeing some fatties in the rear like that. So until I can afford to buy tires, this is what I got to do. So, and I really need this red car to sell. I'd like to keep both, but I need the money to put into the other one. So yeah. Anyways, so we're going to go rearrange cars and park everything back up again so I can get stuff closed up in the garage. It's probably all I'm going to do tonight. I am waiting on this to cool down so that I can change the spark plug wires. I'll use the set that came with the car. The ones on the passenger side bank they're arcing out, so it's island rough. And then, like I said earlier, we fixed some vacuum lines and stuff. Washed all the crap off the top of the motor, so hopefully we don't catch anything on fire. Other than that, I'm just waiting to get spark plugs changed so I can fire it back up, and then I'll bolt seats and stuff down and put interior stuff back in and at least go drive it and enjoy it for now. And then I can work on everything else over the winter as I get money saved up, because it definitely needs trim, all the window trim, all the roof trim, all the back window trim, the seals, all that needs replaced. So that's it. Thanks for watching. We'll see you later, and be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Leave your comments down below on what you guys think of the progress so far, and we'll see you next time. One thing I forgot to mention when I was taking the engine, I have the engine covers off, trying to get them cleaned up, and then was getting all the crap and vacuuming out under the motor when I was changing that vacuum line. I had a check engine light on, so I scanned it with my little scanner, my Harbor Freight one, and it said MAF sensor. So I got to digging around the MAF sensor and I found a broken wire. So we repaired that. Heat shrink, wrapped it in, it's a solder heat shrink crimp, and then wrapped it in black tape. I didn't have any heat shrink tubing, but fixed that wire, started the car, no check engine lights. So I have no lights on the dash at all right now. So I'm pretty happy about that. Now, like I said, in the morning, we'll change that spark plug wires on that passenger side and then see if it's smoking again after I let it sit and run. If not, we're going to drive it. And then once I can leave the battery plugged in for long periods of time, I'll put that side panel back on so the car looks complete. And then it's just a buff and a wax on what paint is still here that's still good, and try and enjoy it before winter, and then we'll go from there. I still think this front spring is bad. It starts sagging after a while, but we're going to run it right now and see what it does. So talk to you later. All right, so I changed out the spark plug wires on the passenger side. It's sitting here idling. We're up to temp. Let's look inside. Yeah, so we've got good oil pressure. We've got a little bit of oil temp, and we've got decent water temp, and the alternator's charging. It sounds fantastic. have smoke pouring out of it this time, so I'll put the engine covers back on and maybe drive it tomorrow. I'm getting more and more excited every day. Hard work pays off. I know it's frustrating and it takes time, but you got to do what you got to do. So next thing I'll probably do is make sure the interior's in decent enough shape where I can actually drive the car, put a few things back together. I'm still bummed that the power seat doesn't work on the driver's side. But then I'll put the side panel back on for the battery and maybe buff and wax, at least get it somewhat shined up. As I mentioned earlier, I have wheels off the 84. I don't like the way the car looks. I'd much rather have the saw blades back on it, but until I get some money to buy some tires, then this is what we got to do. So see you guys later.